everyone. Welcome to Circle of Healing Connection. This is Madhu.
This is Angela.
And I'm Alison Verge. Thanks for having me.
It's such an honor that we have Alison with us. Alison is a professionally trained dating and relationship coach and co-author of Radical Self-Love. Singles hire her to overcome the obstacles of dating in order to be fully ready and able to attract their ideal life mate. Alison helps clients become conscious daters who learn to make well-informed decisions, not based simply on attraction or out of desperation. They gain complete clarity on their requirements for fulfilled relationship through understanding of their core drivers like life purpose, vision, values, influence of current and past relationships and dreams. Clients transform from being frustrated, confused, and overwhelmed to becoming confident, competent daters as they know exactly what they want, how to get it, and not to settle for anything less. Alison provides all the resources to ensure clients are able to attract and keep the right partner for a relationship that lasts. Welcome, Alison.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. I am excited to talk to you and get to know about your journey and how did you even become a relationship coach? Usually we don't, when we are struggling with relationship or as a single person, let's say I feel overwhelmed by all this expectation even on me. How do I even know I should go see Alison? Talk to us about your journey on that part, please.
Well, it's certainly been a bumpy one full of twists and turns, but I will tell you about the last 5 years because that's really what brought me to where I am today. And, it hasn't been easy, but I wouldn't change it because I am where I am today and I'm very happy now. But in 2015, a day that I thought would be a normal one, skiing with my family, ended up changing my entire life. And it was not a great day, let's say that. A major skiing accident actually ended up in an incurable condition called CRPS, and it's nicknamed the suicide disease. And the reason why it's nicknamed that is it's considered one of the most painful conditions in the world. And most people who have that actually are fully disabled and not able to function. I went from being, in the best shape of my life, a fitness fanatic, health nut, to not being able to walk outside of my home. And I was wheelchair bound. Now, for those of you who have been fully disabled, it really humbles you to the core. And on top of this, my marriage of 20 years ended. I felt, as you can imagine, completely devastated. And like I said, it, humbled. And I knew that I had a choice to make. I had two beautiful girls, one a teenager and one about to be a teenager. And I decided that, okay, I can give in to this and take the opiates offered by the doctor. And, nobody would blame me at all and I don't blame other people at all either, because it's horrible. And it was depressing. I had lost my marriage. But that's not what I wanted out of my life. So on top of obviously my relationship was changing and my health was changing and I was going through that battle, I decided to renovate. Why not renovate my house for, completely from top to bottom, which took 2 years of my life, doing a lot of work there. I decided that, hey, I'm going to take a look at things. And at first you want to blame your other half and it's all their fault. But I decided to take a look at myself and do a lot of investigation into who I am. Like, okay, first of all, was I actually happy? Am I, I'm mourning this past relationship and who I was, but am I mourning the right things? Like, was I really feeling a sense of joy and fulfillment? And yes, I loved my family completely, don't get me wrong, but I realized there was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't getting that inner sense of true fulfillment and feeling like I was fulfilling my sense of purpose. And so I thought, okay, you know what? I think I need more. I loved my career at the time of 25 years. I was in marketing and operations management. I was a consultant and I loved what I did. But I think I loved it because I was good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And people told me that. And I loved the people I worked with. But I wasn't really feeling like I was doing anything good in this world. So I actually got two different coaches, a life coach and a business coach, and I worked with them and I did a lot of work to figure out, like, what are my values? You know, what is my life purpose? Who am I? Also did some work on, hey, you know what? Maybe I did something wrong in my relationship too. Maybe there's things I can improve on for my next relationship. So I took this opportunity as a, time to transform everything in my life and myself. And so I went back to school and for a few years to become, to follow my passion and become the very best relationship coach I can be. That's basically it in a nutshell.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, and I should have told you that I'm doing very well physically today. I'm in what I like to call remission. It's been a constant battle. There are times it's still tough, but I walk freely without any devices. It's a bit of a miracle, but I'm happy to say that I'm a full believer. For those of you out there in the power of the mind, when you do believe you can overcome something, it's a big contributor. Not to discount the illnesses and the diseases out there, but the power of the mind can do a lot.
Mm.
That's so true. Wow, thank you so much for just being real with us. So, Alison, with your experiences of helping so many people with their relationship, what do you see are the reasons why lots of women and men are not finding the right partner in their lives?
I really believe that the biggest issue is that people are not intentional enough with their actions and being clear on what they want. Because when you think about it, right, when we go out there in business on any project, we develop a business plan and we are very clear on exactly what we need to do and what we want. We would never go out there and just kind of blindly, like, oh, I think I'll do this and I think I'll do that. And, clients come in and you blindly present, you would fail. But we go out there in the dating world and we just kind of with a rough idea of what we want in a relationship. And the problem with that is chemistry. And chemistry, don't get me wrong, I also like to call myself a dating and romance coach because I do think that I'm the queen of romance, but it's something I'm very passionate about. And I think it's very important, but it's actually a very real thing. If you look it up, the stages your body goes through, chemistry is so powerful. And unless you are properly equipped, it will take over everything. So you need to know what you want when you're going out there, and you need to be properly equipped with the skills so that you can make properly informed decisions. So it's like what I like to say is, okay, say you would like to lose weight. And I am not a believer in diets, by the way. I'm a believer in moderation, figuring out what's right for you, and exercise. But say you wanted to lose some weight, but you had no idea how to do that. You just roughly knew, hey, I should not eat fast food. Maybe lots of fruits and vegetables, but you probably don't know that don't eat tons of fruit all day long. It has a lot of sugar in it. Or don't drink fruit juice all day long. That's not so good for you either. You don't really know what things, or maybe certain things cause inflammation in your body that aren't good for you. So if you go to a buffet, you're going to have no idea. It all looks so good. You're most likely going to completely fail. And I, again, don't beat yourself up over this if this is true, but you're going to gain that weight. You're not going to lose. You're not going to be successful. the same holds true for finding that partner. You go out there, there is so much choice. It's too much. You're not going to find that right person for you. You haven't determined who that right person is for you. You don't have the skill, you don't have the knowledge about what's right for you. And that's why it's important to really have that, do the prep upfront so that you are prepared out there. And the other problem is mindset. And I want to say that this was my big issue, and I never would have admitted it at the time. Never. I would have told you that there's no way. Nope. I have a completely positive attitude. It is not my fault. The guys out there suck. I would have told you that for sure. 100%. I would have said it's nothing to do with me. I don't know why this is not happening. And yes, I'm not going to lie. Like, I did get a lot of invitations and connections, but it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere. And then I was wondering, like, why are guys flip-flopping? Like, why is this happening? And then I was also, I'd hear my guy friends say that, oh, I asked this girl out in the coffee shop. I just started talking to this random girl. And I was like, no guy's ever done that with me. Not once. And then, I started to realize that mindset is everything. I realized that even though I really believe on the dates, I was very positive, very smiley, but I had a very negative attitude. And I do believe your thoughts control your actions and the energy you put out. And I do think that even though, yes, I was smiling, but I wasn't authentically putting out a positive energy. I was thinking the process was negative, and really I wasn't actually taking the time to enjoy the process. It was very, structural to me. So I think people need to step back and make sure they're in a good place first. You cannot be successful out there if you're not in a good place first. And we'll talk about that, but really check in. Like, what are you saying to yourself about this whole process? So that's the last thing that I'm saying is the reason why people are not having that success.
Well, just by listening to it, I can revisit all those thoughts I've had in, previous years, being a single person, and why nobody this and why I can't this. And, it's like, and often it feels like a war zone, like you have to feel this way, you have to be this way, you have to, and it's just, I don't think when we are in that mindset, like, I did need to do this, I need to do that. And like, we don't get to be even ourselves. So my question to you is that, teach us some of those strategies into preparing anyone for a better relationship.
Yes.
So that, when we are actually even going out, we have a better knowledge of ourselves and exactly, what we are getting ourselves into.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you asked. I sort of touched on this a little bit. I started to, but number one is self-love, and confidence. If you don't have that, frankly, you're going to be eaten up out there, and you're not going to do well once you're in that relationship. You have to be sure that you are in love, frankly, with yourself first, because too many of us want that relationship, that person to complete us. And you don't need to be completed. You are fully complete on your own, because then you are, joining that relationship out of desperation. And if something goes wrong in that relationship, you end up feeling like you do not have the power to leave. And that is a big problem. You need to feel that you can bring up at any time any issues that are going wrong, or frankly, like if it's not even a committed relationship, you need to feel that you have the power to walk away if it's not right for you. And when you don't have that love of yourself, that usually doesn't happen. And people love confidence, right? People love confidence. And that is going to make you rise above everybody else. And along with that is authenticity. And we already talked about that. And you know what, to be honest, it's hard. Like, it took me, and we had, a little talk ahead of time. It's been hard for me to talk about my journey. It's hard. it's not always easy, like, talking about things that hurt us, or talk about things that, that sort of make us feel like we're weak. But if you don't put yourself out there the way that you really are, you're not going to find that right person for you. And that person is going to see through you and may eventually walk away, because that's not the person that they signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to find that right person for you, be yourself. You're going to attract the right person who wanted you. And there is someone out there for everybody. There really is. There really is. You just have to be patient and wait for it to happen, because it will. I like to say that as you're out there looking for that right partner for you, if you define what you want, the person who defined those qualities that you want is also looking for you.
True.
You just have to define it. So you have to think like that. But if you don't define it, it's just blindly out there. There's so many people, you can't find that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. Number two is self-awareness. And I've touched on that, but I have to stress it. And this is what, where my journey took me. And, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't done it, is really being clear on who you are. And so many of us think that we know who we are. And back then I felt like I was fully self-aware. I know who I am. I'm fully aware of who I am. I read all kinds of books, and I know who I am. But, then when I did the coaching, and, one of the first questions was, what are your values? And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I think I came up with one. I knew, like, love, but, you kind of then start thinking about what society would say is a good value. But have you really thought about what it is for you? Because everybody's going to be different and there's no judgment. But what is your vision for the future? Because we all kind of go along with, okay, well, I want money on the table. I want to be secure. I want my career to, to be stable. But like I said, have you thought about whether that truly fulfills you? Like, if you think 20 years from now, if that's how long you have left, maybe some of us have 5, 10, whatever that is for you. Have you thought about down the road, are you really going to be happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, if yes, then that's great, but maybe it's not. And there's no reason why you have to stay in that. And yes, it's risky, but do you want that to be, where you are for the rest of your life? So figuring that out. And the other important thing is influence of relationships, because that is a key thing that people never look at. And there's so much information in that. And we're not just talking about dating relationships here. We're talking about your friends and family. And we're talking about the positive and negative traits that you like in them. And I hate to say negative, but come on. And we have them too. Everybody has them. Mm-hmm. And there's reasons why you hang out with the people that you do and why you don't hang out with certain people anymore. And that's very valuable information into the person that you need in your life. Because those people that you choose to hang out with are the type of people, the type of qualities that you need in your future partner. So you need to be aware of that. It's very much like in business target marketing. Like, there's a reason why that is so important, to figure out your target niche. That's how you become successful. And that's how you're going to become successful in dating, is by figuring out who your target market is. That is very important, but none of us do it. I did it too. I just went out there blindly. And if I was attracted to someone, then I went out on a second date with him. But then the problem is the red flags pop up and our inner voice tells us that this relationship may not be good for us, but the attraction kicks in. And instead of walking away, we think that we can change that person or we can live with it. And then time goes on and time goes on. And then you've invested too much time. And, oh, yeah, it's fine. But then, we know stats tell us that it's not fine. And those are just the stats that we know about. We also know, talking to friends and family, that there's so many relationships out there that are miserable, and probably the people should walk away or should be getting help that they don't get. Mm-hmm. So by doing this work up front, you have such, a better chance of finding the right person and finding a relationship that lasts. And the next thing is competence. And I'm not saying that people out there aren't competent, but when it comes to dating, it's become extremely complex. And I'm not going to lie, it can be very frustrating. But if you develop some skills and know some tips, I have learned so much. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I would never ever in my past have gone up to a man and approached him, like showed any interest at all. Like, I
Mm.
mean, I'm not even talking about asking him out. I wouldn't have shown any interest. I would have thought, oh, that's so bad. Like, for a woman to show that she's interested, he's never going to like me.
Taboo.
I would have thought that for sure. But I have since learned from talking to clients, talking to a lot of men, because I do a lot of investigation,
Mhm.
that that's so false. I mean, obviously, there's always a population, and you might talk to a couple of guys who say it differently. There's always going to be those people. But I can tell you that the majority of men find that very sexy and attractive and are so relieved, because it is so hard on them to go up to women. It's really, and some men simply can't. So you don't know, just because that man across there didn't go up to you does not mean he doesn't like you. And there's ways to do it so you're not too forward if you're uncomfortable with that. And that's something that I learned over time. So you need to, knowledge is power, so you need to gain some skills, learn some things when you go out there dating. It does, it does set you up in the right place. And when you have that knowledge, like I said, confidence is key. When you have knowledge, just like in business, when you have that knowledge, you do a better, you do a better job. So you're more attractive when you have that confidence. So confidence is key. And the last key thing about dating is taking it slow. So slow down and enjoy the process, because it is fun. Like, think about it. Like, you talk, just go talk to some people who are in long-term relationships, because they are, yes, they're amazing and they're wonderful. And you have that security and you have that partner, to share everything with, who supports you. But dating is also fun too. You get to go on all these new adventures. And think about it that way. So don't always fast forward and tell the story of the future in your mind. Enjoy the moment. And once you do all that prep work, you have to then take that prep work and put it into action. So, when you're on those dates, think about the requirements. When I work with my clients, we come up with very, very clear requirements for that person. And you have to then, start checking them off. Okay, does this person have this? Does this person have that, in your mind? And if they don't, walk away, because I know it's a cliche about lots of fish in the sea, but there really is. There really is. Don't think that there's just like your one person, or you're going to find that person. And so enjoy the enjoy the process, and, just keep moving on until you find that right person. And establish boundaries and stick with them. And it doesn't have to be cold and structured. There's very fun, flirty ways to, relay your boundaries to someone without coming across, as this cold, aggressive person. But we have to have boundaries and stick by them, and actually people find that very attractive when someone, kind of has boundaries and sticks by them, isn't wishy-washy, right? That's also, if you talk to people, they do find that very, very sexy. So that's another thing. And, for those, I'm sure you have listeners out there who are in relationships. So I just wanted to leave a couple of relationship tips, because, I do talk to couples. I was married for 20 years. And if I could, go back and do it again, I like I said, I don't regret now being where I am now, but there are certainly things that I look back at that I know now that if I'd only been taught in school to do differently, I would. And the one thing, and it seems obvious, but I'm going to stress, just do it. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Because life gets so busy and we put it aside. And as much as we say we're going to do it, we don't. I'm sure this has all happened to you, where you're with your kids, or work comes up and, there's an issue, you're rolling your eyes at your spouse, you have an argument and you say, oh, okay, we'll talk about it later. And then you don't, because you are tired. Your favorite show comes on, a phone call happens. You're going to talk about it in the weekend. And then, something else comes up and you shove it under the rug. But, that dust under the rug builds up. and it gets moldy. It doesn't work. And the other thing is to make your partner a top priority in your life, because in the end, you know, if you have kids, you're going to be empty nesters at some point. It's just going to be the two of you. And what do you have left at that point? It's not going to be a heck of a lot of fun. You have to take little, you know, you have to take some initiative to keep your relationship spicy. And I know it doesn't, you know, some of the people cringe. They go, oh, we've been married for so long, it's, you know, but there are always little ways to do stuff. If you need some pointers, contact me. I can give you lots. You know, even just a little note in their bag, or even now I know people are isolated, but just like, you know, in their office if they're working somewhere, or just on the bed, you know, if they're in the shower, just a little sexy note of some kind. There's different ways to do it, but, you know, keep your relationship alive, and don't, you know, when you come in the door, greet your dog before your husband. Okay. You know, make, you know, really, you know, greet them, give them a kiss, make them feel important, and seek assistance when needed. Okay. Get help, and know when to get help. You know, whether it's from a therapist, a psychologist, a coach, and whether it's getting a book and doing it together, get that help, because sometimes it's too late. You know, just keep talking, and, you know, just make appointments to talk every week. And because sometimes, you know, you don't realize what's under the surface.
Oh, well, I am definitely leaving all those sexy notes to my men now.
Yeah, this is
You will
amazing.
really appreciate it.
It's good, really good stuff, Alison. If for the singles who can get a lot of tips on finding the right partner, can listen to this video recording. And for the one who got married, and I know for marriage, it's a lot about falling in love with the same person over and over again. Like even for me and my husband, make sure we go on a date once a month
Yes.
at least.
Mhm.
If we can go on, if we have time to go on more dates, we would love that. But life is busy, and communication is the key between any relationship, like between women, friends, and parents and kids. All the relationships involved with good communication. And thank you so much, Alison, for all the great strategies and tips. And for the one who want to book a free session with Alison, please go to our website or click on the link below. And thank you so much all for watching today. And make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, circlehc.org. And thank you all for watching. Bye for now.
Bye for
Goodbye.
now.